Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that vote primary industries stand part of the schedules. I call the Honourable David Cunliffe.
It's a privilege to take a short call on primary industries, Mr Speaker, and in particular to reflect the word from the agricultural community that National seems to have something against farmers at the moment. The sad evidence of that fact, Mr Speaker, is the cuts to frontline biosecurity services. Frontline services vital to protecting our billion-dollar agricultural trade, our export industry that's worth thousands and thousands of jobs. $2.8 million was saved from these job cuts compared to the billion-dollar cost of a foot-and-mouth outbreak in New Zealand, or the 146 times greater cost of the PSA outbreak in our kiwi fruit industry. Mr Speaker, the latest independent report on the PSA disease shows it will cost our economy $410 million. That's 146 times the cost of the cuts to the staff. Mr Speaker, John Key promised not to cut frontline services, but in 2009 his government slashed 54 frontline biosecurity positions. More redundancies have followed since, and the latest figures show that there are now 91 fewer biosecurity staff than previously. Mr Speaker, even Wellington Airport, in this fair city where we're standing, hasn't had a sniffer dog working in it since October last year, and that's gross negligence of duty by a government that is exposing our primary industries to undue risk. In fact, the number of detector dogs nationwide, I'm advised, has dropped under National, and last year only one new dog was trained compared to 15 in 2008. Now, members opposite might snigger, but the reality is that those dogs are our last line of defence where not every package can be opened on the biosecurity front. Mr Carter, the Minister, said that staff cuts will result in drop in imports, but that just doesn't stack up because, for example, since December 2009, the number of international passengers arriving in New Zealand has increased by 140,000 a year. And in December 2009, the value of imported cargo, including cost and insurance, increased by $6.9 million. So more people, more imports, less biosecurity staff, less detector dogs, weaker protection. Maybe it's a coincidence that we've had a tragic outbreak in our kiwi fruit industry, but frankly that is not a risk that New Zealanders should be taking. Mr Speaker, I think this shows a broader point. This national government is priding itself on trying to balance the books, but they're falling into a very old, well-known problem. They know the cost of everything and the value of nothing. Penny pinching a few bucks out of biosecurity and prejudicing a billion-dollar industry is not smart. Mr Speaker, the other word on the street is that this new MAF conglomerate is being dumbed down. Dumbed down because they've got forestry people working on agriculture, fisheries people working on forestry, and Mr Speaker, the whole thing is a mess. It's like Moby, the great white whale that blended MED and the science ministries, Mr Speaker, which has saved nothing, given Mr Joyce an empire, but contributed nothing back to industry. Mr Speaker, the government doesn't have a substantive plan, not a real strategy, so they're moving the deck chairs around amongst the public service to give the impression of movement. The thing is, farmers are pretty smart people. They know the difference between real work and make work, and they're not fooled by bureaucratic shuffle. What they want is answers, and they want protection for biosecurity, and that's why the Labor Party is standing up and saying we disagree with those cuts to frontline biosecurity services. Mr Speaker, the Labor Party, Attorney General, the Labor Party, exactly. Mr Speaker, agriculture is New Zealand's mainstay. It's our primary export sector. We depend upon the protein and the fine food products and wines and other products from our primary sector that we export. Mr Speaker, the Labor Party is committed to partnering with this industry to help it to grow, to get more people in work, to increase the value of our exports to bring higher technology, better jobs, higher incomes to this sector. Mr. Speaker, we're willing and able to listen to the industry about what they need and to partner with them towards a future which is going to be more prosperous and more sustainable. Thank you.
I call the honourable member Shane Ardern.